Good evening. This is Facebook Love number 320. It is June 12th. It feels like a cool early summer day. And I was looking for some poets that I haven't read ever. And I don't think I know either of these poets' work. So that's kind of what I was looking for today. And it's in a book, so I need these. Happening more and more these days. I don't have a theme today. I just have a couple poems that caught my eye. The first one is by a poet named Alison, Luterman. And the second one is by Philip Levine. First, Alison Luterman on not flying to Hawaii. I could be the waitress in the airport restaurant full of tired cigarette smoke and unseeing tourists. I could turn into the never-noticed landscape hanging identically in all the booths, or the customer behind the Chronicle who has been giving advice about stock portfolios for 45 years. I could be his mortal weariness, his discarded sports section, his smoldering ashtray. I could be the 70-year-old woman who has never seen Hawaii, touching her red lipstick and sprayed hair. I could enter the linen dress that poofs around her body like a bridesmaid, or become her gay son sitting opposite her, stirring another sugar into his coffee for lack of something true to say. I could be the reincarnated soul of the composer of the muzak that plays relentlessly overhead, or the factory worker who wove this fake oriental carpet, or the hushed shoes of the busboy. But I don't want to be the life of anything in this pit stop. I want to go to Hawaii, the wet, hot, impossible place in my heart that knows just what it desires. I want money. I want candy. I want sweet ukulele music and birds who drop from the sky. I want to be the volcano who lavishes her boiling rock soup love on everyone. And I want to be the lover of volcanoes who loves best what burns her as it flows. On Not Flying to Hawaii by Alison Luterman. The second one, from Philip Levine, is kind of a long one. The Poem of Chalk. On the way to Lower Broadway this morning, I faced a tall man speaking to a piece of chalk held in his right hand. The left was open, and it kept the beat, for his speech had a rhythm, was a chant or dance, perhaps even a poem in French, for he was from Senegal and spoke French so slowly and precisely that I could understand as though hurled back 50 years to my high school classroom. A slender man, elegant in his manner, neatly dressed in the remnants of 2 blue suits. His tie fixed squarely, his white shirt spotless, though unironed. He knew the whole history of chalk, not only of this particular piece, but also the chalk with which I wrote my name the day they welcomed me back to school after the death of my father. He knew feldspar, he knew calcium, oyster shells, he knew what creatures had given their spines to become the dust time pressed into these perfect cones. He knew the sadness of classrooms in December when the light fails early and the words on the chalkboard abandon their grammar and sense and then even their shapes, so that each letter points in every direction at once and means nothing at all. At first, I thought his short beard was frosted with chalk, as we stood face to face, no more than a foot apart. I saw the hairs were white, for though youthful in his gestures, he was, like me, an aging man, though far nobler in appearance, with his high carved cheekbones, his broad shoulders, and clear, dark eyes. He had the bearing of a king of lower Broadway, someone out of the mind of Shakespeare or Garcia Lorca, someone for whom loss had sweetened into charity. We stood for that one long minute, the two of us sharing the final poem of chalk, while the great city raged around us. And then the poem ended, as all poems do, and his left hand dropped to his side abruptly, and he handed me the piece of chalk. I bowed, knowing how large a gift this was, and wrote my thanks on the air, where it might be heard forever, below the seashells' stiffening cry. The Poem of Chalk by Philip Levine. I really love just picking poems randomly, just to hear what that poet was thinking that day, that moment, knowing they probably spent a whole day, maybe many days, honing that, winnowing down all the words that came spilling out to just the most essential words. I had a couple really good days of writing over the weekend, and I'm grateful because I've been feeling rather stuck working on my book, and that randomness, maybe that, okay, there was a theme, the randomness of that. Why does it work sometimes and not work other times, and what part does frustration play in the process? This is Facebook Love number 320, and I'll see you again.